Okay, hi, welcome guys. Today we are going to be talking about not just places, but how do we talk about money when we need to exchange our money or give someone money or take money or pay by a credit card or by cash. So we're traveling, we're imagining that we're going places, but we're going to be talking about money. So we're going to be making sure that we can have conversations with people about money when we travel. So if we look in our lessons, we have some vocabulary. So let's look at some vocabulary. If I want to change some dollars, that means that maybe I have a note, okay, like a $10 note, and I want to make it into small money. I want to make it into coins or something like that. So I want to change, okay, I want to change some dollars. Another expression that we have is spend a lot of money. We know that when we go to a new country, we always spend a lot of money because we need to pay for the hotel, we need to pay for tours, we need to pay for entrance fees. There's a lot of things that you need to spend when you're on holiday. So you spend a lot of money. Yeah, it means that you're using your money to buy something. We've got another expression, take out some money. So that usually means when I have an ATM machine, or if I need to go to the bank, I go inside the bank or I go to the machine and I take out some money from my card. Okay, so it's the same if I put my card in the machine and then maybe I want to take out $20 or I want to take out $50. We also say that we want to pay by credit or we want to pay by credit card. Or sometimes you've heard Americans say, do you take American Express? That's their credit card. Do you take Visa? You can also say the same thing. Do you, can I pay by Visa? Can I pay by credit? Okay, so that means using my credit card, not cash, but credit card. Lend me some money, some coins. So this is an interesting verb. When I say lend, that means give to me, but it means that I must give it to you back. So for example, can you lend me $10? It means that I need it, but I will give it back to you. Can you lend me some coins? Now, coins is not cash, paper money. It's the coins. In Australia, we have the 5 cents, the 10 cents, the 20 cents, the 50 cents, the $1, the $2. They are our coins. Borrow some cash. So that means maybe I need to borrow money, some cash from a friend. So I can say, can I borrow some cash from you? Buy a train ticket. So you know that when you're traveling, you need to purchase. Another verb that you could use is purchase a train ticket because you need to get onto the train. So you need to first buy a train ticket before you can take the train to go somewhere. Let's have a look at some ways that if we're in a place, maybe we're at the bank, or maybe we're at the post office, or we're just in a shop, we want to buy something, or maybe we're at a currency exchange place or in a restaurant. Let's look at ways that we can ask, request, and ask for money or something. So I could say can or could. So I can use these two verbs to start my sentence. Doesn't matter which one you use. Then I put the subject. So usually you would say I, you, he, she, it, we, they. And whatever action you want. Is it that you want to buy something? You need to book something. Maybe you need to book a ticket, book a train ticket, book a hotel room. Or you need to pay. You need to pay for the meal. You need to pay for the dress. And then you put a noun. So this could be a sentence like, can I book my flight tickets online. Could I pay for this book? If it's maybe you're with someone else, you can say, can we book 3 tickets? Because we need 3 tickets maybe for to go inside for a place, like an admission fee. You know, you need to go into the museum. You have to pay an admission fee. So can I book 3 tickets, thanks? Or can I buy 3 tickets? Okay, so that's one way that we can ask for buying something, booking something, or paying something. Another way, again, you start with the can or could, subject, and then you can say get or have, and then whatever object you want. So that's like saying, can I get 3 tickets? Can I have a coffee? Can I get 2 tables? Could I have 5 tickets? Okay, so that's 2 ways that we use when we need to ask for something to do with, you know, booking something, buying something, paying something. Okay, and remember, you just start your sentence with the verb. Now, these are called modal verbs, can or could. Doesn't matter which one you pick. They're both the same. And you just got to follow the rule. Subject, and then the action. Now, somebody can respond yes. Another way to say yes is certainly, or sure, or of course. Of course you can. Yes, you can, of course. Or you could say sure, no problem. You could say absolutely, or all good, yes. Or you could say, yeah, cool, very casual. If the response is no, someone could say, no, I'm sorry. We don't have any more free table. Or you could say, no, sorry, I'm afraid we have ran out of tickets. We don't have any more tickets. Or someone could say, I apologize. I'm sorry. We don't have any more tickets. Or no, because then they can say the reason. Or if it's a really strong no, they can say absolutely not. We do not sell whatever. Or no way. Again, very casual. So just some examples. So remember, we were talking about requesting. We're asking for something. We want to buy something. We want to pay for something. We want to book for a ticket. Okay, it's all to do with money. We're talking about money and asking that. So for example, you could say, can I borrow your car? So remember, borrow means that I need it, but I will give it back to you. It's the same as saying, can you lend me your car? So just be careful, because if you want to use borrow, you must say I. Can I borrow? Or can you lend me? Okay, they could be for the same object. Can I borrow your car? Can you lend me your car? Okay, so you just got to remember, which one do you want to use? They're exactly the same question, but you must follow the rule. Can you lend me? Can I borrow your? Some other things that we can ask, can I change my flight route? Okay, maybe you need to change your flight seat. My flight seat. A lot of people do that. They want to change their seat. Can I change my flight? Maybe you just want to change your flight date. Route means where do you go from where? So for example, maybe I'm traveling from Adelaide to Sydney. So I want to change my flight route because I don't want to go to Sydney. I now need to go to Melbourne. So I need to go Adelaide to Melbourne. Okay, or your seat. Can I change my flight seat number? Can I change my flight date? So maybe I'm traveling on April the 15th, but I need to change it. I need to change it to, April the next week. We can say, can I borrow your laptop to check my emails? So remember, borrow means I need it, but I will give it back to you. Can I use your bicycle? Now, use is a verb that we use when we're actually doing something with it. So a bicycle, because you're going to go on it and ride it, you're using it. It's the same as saying, can I use your pen? Okay, because you're going to hold the pen and use it. Can I book it online? Okay, can I book my ticket? We don't know what could be. Could I book my ticket? Can I book my hotel online? Can I book my car hire? Maybe you need to rent a car. So can I book whatever it is online? Sometimes we need to ask that because sometimes it's cheaper to book online, or sometimes that's the only option. If it's just something very casual, like for a coffee, you can say, can I get a long black? Or can I get a small coffee? Or you could say, can you give me a bottle of water? Or maybe, can you get me? Can you get me a drink? Can you get me a drink? Can I borrow your sharpener? So again, borrow because I want to use something and give it back to you. Can I listen to my favorite CD? Maybe you're in a car, you're asking someone. Maybe you want to change, something that you bought for a different size. Can I change these shorts for a different size? Another good one is, can I get a refund? So sometimes we want to, but we bought something, but maybe it doesn't work. It's not really good. Or I changed my mind. So I need my money back. So I say, can I get a refund? That means I want my money back. So maybe I bought something, but it's not good. So I need to give it back and I want to get a refund from a shop. Can I get a refund? You'll hear a lot of times, maybe you're booking something online. Can I have your bank account number or your credit card details? Okay, so this is like a travel blog, means when someone writes about their journey. Maybe they write it online, maybe they write it on a Facebook comment, and it's like a little paragraph. Maybe it's a longer writing, but you'll see that they're talking about their journey. What happened? Where did they go? Who did they go with? What was the most exciting part of their journey? So let's read this together to practice our English. So this is a travel blog. Somebody is writing about their journey, about their travel. Okay, let's read together. Yesterday was the final day of my bus journey from Lhasa to Kodari at the border with Nepal. It's the highest road in the world, and it's also a very long journey. We traveled for 3 days through the Himalayas, and you could see the north side of Everest. In the afternoon, we were only 5 kilometers from Kodari, and suddenly the bus stopped. The driver got out and looked at the engine. For the next 3 hours, he tried to fix the engine. Some of the other passengers got angry, but he couldn't start the bus. Finally, all the passengers got out and started to walk to the border. I felt sorry for the bus driver because he looked sad and lonely. But I also wanted a good hotel and a hot meal. So I left the bus too and walked to Kadari. Later that night, the bus arrived in the town. And here is an image. Okay, so the bus broke down. That means it stopped and it won't work. And yes, so this person was writing about what happened. So let's have a look at the adjectives, because you remember in the past lessons, we've been using our adjectives to describe the trip. So I can see here, we're comparing. It's the highest road in the world. Can you see the adjective high? And then you add est because you're comparing it to many. This is the highest road in the world. Another adjective, long. It's a very long journey. Another adjective is sad and lonely. They're adjectives to talk about when someone looks sad or someone looks lonely. Okay, so those are adjectives that we used that you could see in the writing. Okay, so we read about someone's travel journey. Where was the writer? They were going from Lhasa to Kadari. Okay, so where is a question about location. So where were they? They were in this place, but they were going here. Or you could just say Lhasa to Kadari. That's where they were. And how many days was the journey? 3 days. What could the passengers see? So in the bus, what could they see? The north side of Mount Everest. So if they looked outside the window, they could see the mountain. What happened to the bus? So remember, what happened to the bus? It broke down. That means that the bus stopped working. It broke down. It wouldn't turn on. It broke down. Who tried to fix the engine? The bus driver. Okay, the bus driver tried to fix the engine. How did the passengers feel? They were angry. So we need to use an adjective, as a descriptive adjective. So they were angry. Why did the writer feel sorry for the bus driver? Because the bus driver looked sad and lonely. Okay, that's just from the reading. He looked sad and lonely. And why did the writer walk to the border? We don't know if it's a he or she, but he or she wanted a good hotel and a hot meal. They didn't want to wait with the bus driver. So they walked to get some food and a hotel to sleep. Okay, because the bus stopped. It didn't get to the final destination. Okay, so let's look at when we write, we've got these words so and because. Now, so and because are in the middle of a sentence, and they allow us to either give a reason to the action. So if I start with the first one, I've got an action, something happened, like the bus broke down, it started to rain, I lost my phone, I went to work. Okay, so you've got an action. And then you say because. It's always in the middle of a sentence, never the start of a sentence. And then you give the reason why. So for example, I left work early because it was a holiday. Okay, so everybody was leaving early. Or I went to the markets because they have lots of sales there. Or another sentence could be, because you got to remember it's an action. I did something. What did you do? I booked my ticket for my holiday early because, or I booked it online because it is cheaper. Okay, so usually you have the action first, you have because is in the middle of the sentence, and then you say why. The reason means why. Now, sometimes you can also start with the reason. So you say something happened, and then you say, so, okay, so there's a comma here, then you'll say so, and then you'll say the action. Okay, so it's sentences like, I wanted a good hotel. So that's a reason. I wanted a good hotel and a hot meal. So I left the bus. Can you see how he gave you the reason first? And then I said, so what action did I do? I walked away. Okay. Or something like it started to rain. Okay. And everybody was screaming and I was afraid. So we all went home. So we can see in number 2, number 2A, I felt sorry for the bus driver because he looked sad. That's using because in the middle of the sentence. Okay, so that's the sentence that gives the action first and then the reason. But if I say I wanted a good hotel and a hot meal, so I left the bus and walked to Kodari, that's telling you the reason. And then so, you can always see there's a comma, so, and then the action. So if we look at a few more sentences, you'll see. So we called a taxi. So we're going to do these sentences together. We called a taxi because, okay, because this is the action. We called a taxi. That's an action. I did something. I picked up the phone and I called the taxi. It's an action. Now I want to say why. Because we were late for the meeting. Okay, so because is in the middle, action first, reason after. Number 2B, for number 2, the train was late, comma. So you can see that there's a comma. So you should automatically see, so you have to say, so we waited on the platform. Number 3, we had a drink of water. That's an action because I did something. I had a drink of water and I want to say why, because it was a very hot day. It started to rain. It started raining. So I can see that there's a comma. So they ran home. Okay, the reason first, and then so, and what action? What did I do? I ran home. I went home. I wanted to sleep, comma, so I stayed at a hotel. We hired a car because there were no trains or buses. I needed some money. So, yes, I looked for a cash machine. Okay, the action, you can see it's after so. What did I do? So you ask the question, what happened? What did you do? I looked for a cash machine. My friend lent, remember that means to give. My friend lent me $10 because I want to say why. Because I didn't have any cash. Okay, so really important when we write, we've got these two words, so and because, which are in the middle of the sentence. Remember, when you say because after the action, it's because you're going to say why something happened. And when sometimes you can start with why and then say so, but you need to have a comma before. And then what was the action? So let's do number 3 together. It was the end of our family holiday. Okay, so it was the end of our family holiday. Now, do you want to say and or because we were tired? I think you would say because you're going to say the reason. It was the end of our family holiday because we were tired. We had a long car journey from Switzerland to England, comma. Which one would I use? So we left. So we left early in the morning. The journey was easy at first. That means at the beginning, it was easy. Which one do you think? Because I'm going to tell you why now. Because there wasn't much traffic at that time of day, comma. But now I want to say something different. So when I use the word but, it means because I want to change what I said before. So there wasn't much traffic, but then I'm going to say, but at midday, I'm going to go to the opposite. We needed to stop at a garage near Paris. Now I want to say why. So which word? Because. So this is number 3. Because there was a problem with the engine. There was a problem with the engine. The garage, that means the place where you fix your car, couldn't. Okay, so in the past, we say couldn't for can, but the garage couldn't fix the car for 24 hours, comma. So remember, after a comma, so we needed a hotel for the night. The nearest, that means the closest, the nearest hotel was at Disneyland. We went there And we're going to say and here because I want to add another action. So we went there and it was the best part of the holiday. Okay, and I put an exclamation mark because I said a sentence with excitement, with happiness, like it was the best part of a holiday. Okay, so we looked at, again, using these two words, so and because, which go in the middle of the sentence, and we did some examples here using those two words. Okay, so imagine writing a short travel blog about a journey or a place you visited on holidays. So we don't really want to know about the place. We want to know about your experience. What happened to you? Who did you go with? What happened? And here are some examples. So Brian says, 4 years ago, I traveled to San Andres, Colombia. It was a beautiful place. I traveled with my parents and my brother. I enjoyed visiting the city because there was a lot of seafood variety. The landscapes were incredible and the sunsets were very beautiful. And I visited some nearby islands where I saw some fish. The only thing I didn't like was the weather because it was very hot. Adriano says, September was my last holiday in Brazil, where I got together with some friends at a farm as they wanted to farewell me for my new adventure to Australia. We had a barbecue and shared stories. It was a unique and special moment that I will never forget. Anna says, my last vacation was in the Galapagos, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Galapagos Islands, Ecuador, in February 2022. I remember it perfectly because while I was there, I was able to create memories with my mother and enjoy the beautiful places and the islands had to offer. Our trip from Guayaquil to the islands was approximately 2 hours by plane, a very special memory. Shirley says, my last holiday was in Melbourne. One day while I was there, I did some laundry because my clothes were dirty. And then I went to the train station to go to the beach. When I arrived at the station, the tram was broken down. So we took a taxi. But when we got there, it started to rain. When I got home, my clothes were soaked by the rain. So I had to wash them again. Lewis says, in August of this year, I went with some friends on a holiday to a place called La Lancelin Sand Dunes in Western Australia. It was a very beautiful desert in which my friends and I rode ATVs on the white sands. After that, we went to the beach 7 minutes away by car. Until today, it is the most beautiful beach I have ever seen in Australia. I had a lot of fun during this trip. Jonathan, last year I visited the Dominican Republic with my aunt. We stayed at the Rio Hotel. We arrived on Monday at 4 o'clock, but we hadn't had lunch yet and we were very hungry. So we went to the hotel's restaurant to get something to eat. Afterwards, we went for a walk on the beach. It was a good journey. It was very fun and relaxing, but it was very short because it was only 3 days. So we want to go there again. Dickerson says, a month ago, I was in El Cocho, Colombia, with some friends, which is a wonderful, quiet place with a lot of nature. The natural places here are what I valued the most during my trip. I saw sea turtles, crystal clear waters, and unparalleled sunrises. This was an incredible holiday. Jimena says, my last holiday was spectacular with my daughter in Santa Marta, Colombia. We visited the Tayrona Park, which was very beautiful. We walked for 3 hours, so we were very tired. When we arrived, we saw this amazing view and swam in the sea. Oscar says, in September, I was in Paris with Juanita. We visited Disneyland because ever since we were little, We wanted to go there. We snuck onto the train on the way out of the park because we had the wrong tickets. So we finally made it home after a beautiful day. Franco, a few months ago, I made a decision to travel to Australia to learn English. The journey was very long. It was more than 35 hours. The first city I visited was Sydney. What a beautiful city. The bad news was that my flight lost my suitcase and I didn't have a place to stay. But a good friend of mine found me a place and it all got resolved except for my suitcase, which I got 1 week later. Sebastian, on our last holidays, we traveled to the Blue Mountains of Sydney because they are one of the main tourist attractions of the state. To get there, you needed to take the train from Central Station as it is the cheapest way to get there. Besides the mountains, there was a theme park. So we not only saw the mountains, but also saw mechanical attractions used in the old mines of the region. We visited the place to see this impressive mountain formation because we really like the soil formation. Fernando, I went for a trip to Pisco to see the Huachina, which was in 2021. I went with my friends and my sister. We did many extreme sports such as skating on the sand, diving all-terrain vehicles, and we also visited some wineries where Pisco, traditional drink of Peru, is served among other things. So let's look at what have we been doing in this unit. We've been talking about journeys. Remember, journey is when we go from one place to another. Maybe we're traveling there by car, or we go there by train or by plane. And when we go there, we have an experience, something happens. So we know how to use our adjectives to say if the place was beautiful, if the place was amazing, if it was busy, if it was crowded, if it was really clean and beautiful. But we don't want to just talk about the place. We want to compare it. Remember, we want to compare what does this place, how is it, the same or different to another place? So we can use our comparative adjectives and our superlative adjectives to say that, it was the most beautiful trip in my whole life. It was a good experience. It was the best holiday ever. It was very easy to travel around the city compared to another city. We can say it was more expensive than another city. So that's comparing. That's what we've been doing. We've been comparing. And if you remember, we wrote about a famous city. We wrote about a country, and I got you to write about some countries in Europe. And you had to write about the most famous place, the oldest city, the most beautiful place, the most popular place, the best place to visit, the hottest month, the coldest month, and the cheapest way to travel. So remember, we looked at traveling, and we know that we say that you can go by car, you can take a taxi, take a train, you can walk, because that's a way of traveling. You can go by bicycle, okay, or travel by boat. Maybe you want to take a boat somewhere. So we know how to go to a place, how to travel to a place. Then we went to Colombia. Remember, we looked at a lot about Colombia and places in Colombia. And then we talked about travel money. Okay, so we did today in our lesson, we know how now we can say, I need to borrow some money. Can you lend me some money? Where is the bank? I need to take out some money. Can I exchange my cash for coins? Okay, so we know how to talk about money when we are traveling. We also know how to write and use so and because. Remember, so and because, we put them in the middle of the sentence and we use them in different ways. So now you know how to say so and then how to say because in your sentence and why you use them. And then we talked about, we visited places in our own travels. We talked about where were you, when was it, who did you go with, and what happened. So you all wrote some really great stories about your trip. Okay, so that's what we've been doing. Next lesson, we're just going to look at the review, all the grammar for what we have done. And yes, that's what we're doing. So a lot of grammar for everything that I just spoke about. So remember, it's all about journeys, using our comparative adjectives, and yeah, and travel money, vocab. Okay, so see you all tomorrow, next lesson. So bye, Angeli. Good night.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Welcome, and see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.